Alex Thompson, national political reporter at Axios, with us. Does this represent the White House feeling embattled from all sides, both from Republicans, but also from within the Democratic Party?
Absolutely. Just they can't get a break, right? And this decision was made for one reason only. Joe Biden came fifth in New Hampshire 4 years ago. And they knew that Joe Biden was a little bit vulnerable to a potential primary challenge. So they put South Carolina first. Now, at the time, they said this is about racial representation. This is about putting, a more black electorate first. But the truth is that it was, if you look at actually the fine language, the South Carolina going first is only a one-time thing.
How scared is the White House? We've seen polling with Phillips at 35%. Who knows what the turnout model looks like, on and on and on. How scared is the White House if Dean Phillips wins here?
I don't think there's much worry that I've detected from the Biden team or the White House that Phillips is going to win. I think what you're seeing, and it's been interesting, Senator Maggie Hassan, people close to the White House like Jen Psaki, have been sort of warning that this could be tough. They say write-in campaigns are notoriously difficult. I don't
lowering expectations.
Yeah, I don't think there's any concern that eventually that Joe Biden is going to win this. The question is, could it be closer than they expect? And then, Dean Phillips has not gotten a lot of media attention. MSNBC has not done one interview with Dean Phillips since he got into the race. What happens if he does better and then he starts getting more and more attention?
Makes things more uncomfortable for a president that's already embattled. You and I have talked about his difficulty of sort of having a full campaign schedule in the typical sense of it. I think this is interesting, though. You brought up Maggie Hassan, who's very close to the Biden White House. This was her, Senator of New Hampshire, on, I believe, Meet the Press this Sunday. Take a listen.
Regardless of which Republican wins the nomination, whether it is Haley or DeSantis or Trump, they are all committed to rolling this country backwards, to undermining democracy.
There's a lot of independent voters who understand the threat to democracy language about Donald Trump. Whether they agree with it or not, who knows, but they understand it. Makes sense to them. Is there a danger for Democrats when you label everybody a threat to democracy, Nikki Haley of all people, then nobody's a threat to democracy?
That's really interesting. I mean, they've clearly said and tried to, part of this is they want to run against Donald Trump no matter who the nominee is.
Yeah,
right?
Which would be hard if Nikki Haley beats Donald Trump.
Yeah. But they're going to label Nikki Haley an extreme MAGA Republican, right? And I think there could be a potential, crying wolf scenario. But the fact of the matter is that, Nikki Haley has had some extreme positions, even though she is more moderate on some issues.
They'll get to abortion and
exactly.
A couple other things. I brought this polling up with Bill O'Reilly. He questioned the polling. I'm not sure. The polling may be different, but certainly the idea is pretty similar. Trump versus Biden. New Hampshire, Biden 51, Trump 45. Nationally, Biden 43, Trump 44. So Trump's up in this Marist poll. Then you look at the polling specific to New Hampshire. Nikki Haley turns New Hampshire red for the first time in 30 years. Is there a feeling at the White House that they'd a lot rather run against Donald Trump than anybody else?
Absolutely, and I think that they are going to run against Donald Trump. It's funny. I think I know there are some people close to the White House that are actually sort of find themselves in the usual situation of rooting for Donald Trump tomorrow night. That basically this general election could start on Wednesday, and then and there is a hope, there is a belief inside the Biden campaign that their polls are going to start changing, their grassroots fundraising is going to start changing. All those Democrats that are dissatisfied with Biden are going to come home immediately once Donald Trump's the nominee.
It might explain some of the media coverage, too, right, of people saying this is over, even after Iowa, before it's really over. Sort of this inevitability of Donald Trump, of friends of the White House trying to push that. Alex, good to see you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.